Hello, denizens of the internet. I'm going to be discussing Disney's Echo, but sorry, don't get scared. This isn't a review. What I wanted to talk about was this article in our Globe and Mail newspaper by Tanya Talaga. In Marvel's Echo, Hollywood gets the representation right. Obviously, Miss Talaga does not watch pop culture YouTubers, or she would have realized that the problem with Echo was that it was all about representation and not a very good, well-written story. Although I'm sure she would disagree. Hollywood is fixated with representation these days. No one is saying that we don't need to see a wider range of faces and ethnicities in movies and our TV screens. But if the story sucks, then no amount of representation is going to fix it. And this is what is blinding the commentators like Tanya. There is no question that anyone could see themselves as Superman without actually changing his sex or race. That is what it's been like for decades. But that isn't to say that T'Challa wasn't a great example of representation. Perhaps one of the best non-white characters in the history of Marvel, and of course they killed him off rather than recast him, because I don't know. Writers and producers that don't understand comic books are stupid. And in the case of Tanya, who is of mixed heritage, describing her ancestry as being 1/4 Ojibwe and half Polish, it's not hard to fathom why she would be so proud to see Alakwa Cox, a deaf Menominee First Nations actor, play Maya Lopez. Do you notice that whenever someone has minority heritage in their makeup, that's what they hang off on? No one goes, damn, I'm 3/4 white. I think I'll celebrate that larger segment of my heritage. Nope. White is just no fun. As a Canadian, I could bang off dozens of American actors you Yanks thought were American. Raymond Burr, Glenn Ford, Jay Silverheel. So I'm not going to say representation is bullshit, but for the love of God, good shows are about who you are, not endlessly commenting on what you are. This is a superhero show, not Roots. However, Tanya makes some good points about Hollywood's chronic promotion of the myth of the noble savage, often portrayed by Anthony Quinn, and instead having a First Nations community and a res family dynamic in Echo is a proper upgrade to Pocahontas and the Lone Ranger, speaking of Jay Silverheels. Although, honestly, I think she's in a bit of a time warp. Those kinds of silly caricatures have not been around for a while, which makes her comments anachronistic. Are they purposely anachronistic or just ignorant? I don't know. Does Tanya even own a TV? What about Dark Winds, Rutherford Falls, Mohawk Girls, Reservation Dogs? She writes about the ridiculousness of spaghetti westerns, and here she clearly miswrote, as what she's referring to were American westerns. Spaghetti westerns were best exemplified by A Fistful of Dollars and the good, the bad, and the ugly. Lots of people portraying Mexicans. I don't recall any First Nations, but you folks in the comments I'm sure will correct me. She goes on to write that Echo breaks the stereotypical mold. Here is a female-powered action series with two strong First Nations deaf actors. Okay. Now I'm certain Tanya does not have a TV and a Disney Plus account, because female-empowered action heroes are not lacking and have been a massive bust. The strong female lead that beats up on much bigger men has become kind of a joke of late. There are quotes in the piece about how authentic representation in front and behind the camera is the key to why the series works. But we get why you're rooting for the home team and that this is an uplifting moment. The show, sorry to say, doesn't work and therefore does not advance the cause it's trying to advance. It was the success of A Fistful of Dollars that created the spaghetti western genre. Unfortunately, I believe Echo is done. There won't be a second season. I completely get where Tanya is coming from when she writes, Indigenous storytelling matters. And it matters when stories are told by those who are truly indigenous. The entertainment industry has been set back by those who claim indigeneity but are fond to be putting on an act. Those other shows I mentioned are not setting the entertainment industry back. All I can say is that something broke down along the way and Echo was unwatchable. Alaqua Cox was mediocre at best. Most creative efforts fail. It's the nature of the business. But we have learned that when the message is all you have going for you, then the show is going to be in trouble. I'm genuinely sorry Echo didn't work. I come to shows like this rooting for them. But activists make lousy storytellers, as Disney has proven, especially when they purposely hire an activist director like Sidney Freeland, who proudly announced Echo was not meant to make fans happy. I would normally add here that Disney keeps shooting itself in the foot, but Echo has only one good one left. That's it for me, denizens. Be seeing you.